Hey guys, my name is Brandon and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you like what you see in here, you're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button so you stay notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, let's get straight on with today's video. Hey everyone and welcome back to Is That More Brandon. So in today's episode I'm going to be doing a review for I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here episode 7 for 2024. This was Saturday's episode and we found out that at the beginning of the episode Danny and Oti were cheering for coconuts. Because obviously they were able to make things like coconut rice and coconut tea rather than just it being water or beans and rice. Dean explained he had the best night's sleep of his life. Melvin and Colleen were both unsure about the junkyard celebrities, with Melvin adding that everything that they've seen of the celebrities has been a bit of a facade. Jane explained that she had to take Dean his toiletries, with Alan questioning, well, what has he been doing for toiletries in the meantime? And we found out that all 9 of the main campmates would be taking part in the next trial, with Talisa saying to Colleen, get those questions ready. Maura said to both Dean and Reverend Richard that hopefully they won't have to do anything for this trial, with Dean saying that he's done more than enough trials so far. And Jane basically said to the rest of the campmates, don't say anything to them about that we've rumbled them, don't let them know that we have. And the next trial was called the Teddy Bear Picnic. So this is where all 12 of them are actually together for the first time. They let Dean go over to his campmates, so he just kind of went over there, and it was Maura and Reverend Richard who were kind of sitting in front of Anton Deck. And yeah, just before obviously they let Dean go over, they were kind of just, Colleen was basically just saying, look, it didn't really seem like you actually were living in anything bad. And Dean was like, did you really just work it out? Melvin was like, well, hang on, you've literally just revealed that there was something that we needed to work out. And Richard just said, Maura made me do it. So, you know, putting the blame on her. But yeah, for the terrifying teddy bear picnic, eventually Richard and Maura did confess and did basically say that they were living the life of luxury. They had food every night and they, you know, had bubble baths and the rest of it, and obviously just a double bed and things, but they did say it was for a good cause and it was to win food for their banquet. So, you know, although the campmates were a little bit upset that they were being lied to, at the same time it actually benefited them more because they got more food. For the trial, both Maura and Richard had 6 rounds of food to eat. I think the first 4 rounds were their individual items, and then round 5 and 6 was just a sharing platter where they both had to just share a bit of whatever was on the plate. So it wasn't normal foods, obviously. So for round 1, Maura had to eat 2 pig eyeballs, Richard had to eat 5 cockroaches, 5 crickets. Round 2, it was up for Richard to take a blended fermented herring drink, with Maura having a blended beachworm drink. Round 3, Maura had to eat 2 scorpions, Richard had to eat a pig snout, which he literally did in 1. Round 4, Richard had to eat a crocodile anus, and Maura had to do a goat testicle, which she had to split into 2 and do half and half, because obviously a bit thick, and yeah, she wasn't able to put that entire thing in her mouth. And then rounds 5 and 6, for round 5, they had to both share a worm sandwich and a cow's teat, and for round 6 they had to share a vomit fruit, sheep brain, mealworms, a bull's penis and a snail. So kind of like a bit of everything on that little buffet there. They managed to win all 12 of the stars, so an extra 12 portions of food for camp. And Colleen explained that the eating challenge was tough. Both Richard and Maura have redeemed themselves, but I'm not too sure about Dean, because obviously he kind of betrayed the main camp to kind of go and live this life of luxury for a few days. So she's not sure how he can make it up for them. And the next trial was called Absolute Carnage, but again, another 2 people were taking part in that challenge. Dean and Maura were talking about beds, and obviously I think she was basically saying, well, why can't I just go in one of these 2 beds? And obviously that's when he said that's where the leaders go. She just kind of went, honey, I'm home, because obviously she's back at camp, back at main camp. So yeah, she's hoping to get one of those beds. Oti and Richard were having a chat with each other, and she basically said to him that if he wasn't feeling very good at sleeping on the hammock, she was absolutely happy to switch with him, so for him to have a bed and her to have a hammock. And Dean ended up having a little sleep on Danny's bed. He ended up having a deep sleep nap. It was buffet time, and there was loads of food that was brought down. So there was chicken nuggets, kangaroo burgers, pizza, hot dogs, onion rings, and GK literally was just like, oh my god, it's a chicken nugget. And then Melvin just said, you don't realise what you've done for us today, looking at Richard being like, you know, thank you very much, like you've blessed us with all this lovely real food. It was then time for Jane and Dean to go and collect some wood for the fire, so I think they'd already had this food at this point. So Jane's gone straight down, and I think one of the rules were you're not allowed to collect wood by yourself. So obviously Dean and Jane were on wood duty. I think Alan tried to wake Dean up. He didn't. And I think he was just kind of like, oh, okay, never mind then. You obviously don't want to get involved. He then woke up, had to sort his lenses out because he was obviously wearing contact lenses. I don't know why you sleep in lenses. You shouldn't do that, but he was anyway. And then he obviously went down to go and help Jane. And Alan was like, oh, finally, you're up. And he basically, I wouldn't say he had a go at Alan, but he basically was just said to Alan, look, I don't know what just happened back there, but I literally, you asked me a question, I hadn't even woken up. It takes me a few minutes to wake up. And then I would have actually answered your question, but you didn't even give me time to answer. You asked me a question and just basically just said, no, you're not doing it, or no, you don't want to help. So yeah, he was kind of having a little bit of a go at him. I think they just need to have some sort of drama in there. So yeah, Dean's obviously the first one to start that. Yeah, he obviously kind of just said to, Alan just said to Dean, oh, okay, fine, you don't fancy it, as if like he knew that Dean was listening, but knew he was lazy or whatever. Eventually Dean helped, eventually Dean took over, and he just put Alan in his place. Alan kind of just stepped back and was like, I don't really want drama, like, just, yeah, that's fine, like, I'm not trying to start anything negative with you. So yeah, they kind of had a little bit of a disagreement there. Again, Jane was very quiet. She said thank you to Alan, and again, she didn't really thank Dean much. She kind of just walked straight past him. So there's some sort of, yeah, weird chemistry now going on between the three of them, which is a bit strange. But yeah, Jane didn't really need to get involved and, you know, be rude to him. She could have just said, you know, complete misunderstanding. Alan did what he needed to do. You're now actually helping me, which is fine. But she kind of just didn't say anything. So that was a little bit weird. And then obviously in terms of the trial, we found out that either Colleen or Dean were going to be doing absolute carnage. We then found out it was going to be the both of them. So both of them were taking part. Dean basically said it's going to be a lot of fun, and it was up to the public to then vote for their new camp leaders. So that is the end of episode 7. So if you did enjoy my review, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. If you did enjoy my first weekly review, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And until my second week and weekly episode reviews, I will be back with some new videos very, very soon. And until then, thank you for watching and goodbye.